In English 101 and 102 and in Public Speaking COM 101, I've provided a lot of material to help you prepare content, write essays, etc. This is a short presentation just to really introduce you into the importance of choosing the right words. There's a lot of information elsewhere in your textbook, in other lessons on how to write clearly and similar kinds of ideas. This is focused specifically on how to just choose the right words. So 3 quick ideas, tips for you to use that can make you better at choosing the right word. First of all, use the tools available to you. You might think you know what a word means. If you're not quite sure, look it up. There are online dictionaries. There is an online thesaurus available to you. If you use a thesaurus, though, be sure that you understand that synonyms, words that are similar, may not be precisely the same. And so make sure you understand what the words mean that you're using and be careful. Use the tools available to you. There are so many good tools available to you out there. Make sure you're using good tools. Don't use bad tools. I'm going to talk about that in other lessons, and there is other information about that as well in your textbook reading. One idea is to, when you've written a draft, read it to yourself out loud. Or even better, have someone else read it out loud to you. That helps you kind of get a feel for, is there rhythm in how you've written it? Is it interesting? How does it sound to the ear? That can help you also replace one word for another or find opportunities to just change up how you're using the words. And finally, don't settle for the first thing that pops into your head. That might be okay in a first draft. I mean, you're just trying to get something down on paper, but your first draft should be just that, your starting point. Don't settle for the first thing that you write down or the first thing that you think about. Going back to what I just talked about as far as not settling for the first thing that comes into your head, a lot of time the things that come into our head are cliches, and we just throw them out there. And when we're having a conversation, it's no big deal. When we're writing, there's almost always a better way to say something than the cliche that pops into our heads. And so when you see that cliche on the page that just kind of came to you, consider doing something else, finding a different way to say it, or just simplify it. Instead of saying last but not least, just say last. Finally, in this really basic overview of using the right words, often again, when we just put something on paper that is the first thing that comes into our heads, it tends to be wordy, and it doesn't need to be. I came to the realization. No need for that. It's not. Just say I realized. She is of the opinion. She thinks. Look for opportunities to reduce the number of words you're using to convey your message. Why? Because that makes it more powerful. It makes it punchier. It makes it easier to read. It makes it more interesting. So look for opportunities when you are doing your second draft, when you're reading that first draft, to find phrases that you don't need. Reduce redundant words, words you don't need, punch it up.